Right, straight into the next panel. We have entering the stage Laurie Goode and Mel Pickup. Round of applause, please. It's Laurie Goode. Did I get your name wrong, Laurie? I must apologise. It's been a long day.
It's got an E on the end, but it's superfluous E. Because the monks in the Middle Ages, they used to do very flowery writing, and he's put an E on the end of good. So when you get a name like green, it's got an E on the end, or brown, it's got an E on the end. That's, you know, because of the monks in the Middle Ages. Bit of useless information for you.
I don't know, I've learned something. I'm quite happy with that. I would like to learn something.
You haven't be saying now Mr. Greenie, will you? You'd be saying Mr. Green.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Mr. Brownie.
How are you both enjoying your day so far?
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's okay.
Some amazing costumes. We were just watching before, Wendy. I was just thinking, how can you see? You sat down, you've got this massive costume on. I was just wondering how you could see out of your costume.
He was 25 stone this morning.
We were wondering how he gets into a cubicle if he drinks too many Diet Cokes or whatever. But we didn't go into too much
He's
detail.
got his own cubicle in there, I think.
So what's, other than this costume here, what's your favourite one that you've seen so far? Spring to mind. That one. Winning by a mile.
The horse. The horse is all right.
Yeah, no, it was a centaur. Centaur?
I don't know.
I think a centaur. She made it herself. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, but some amazing costumes. I love homemade costumes because you know people have put so much effort into it. So no, I love the costumes.
You feel bad when you
Mel's
see
an
somebody
artist,
in a costume and it, like a wing falls off or something. You feel really bad for them because they spent so much time putting them together.
Yeah.
So we have sort of original Star Wars meets the Disney Star Wars. So this is it's an interesting
You versus old.
conversation.
Yeah.
I would never say verses. I think they all fit into the same.
Yeah,
I love them
of course
all,
they do.
but it is interesting to have sort of both generations there. So where on earth do we start? If anybody's got any questions, stick your hands up because Star Wars generally generates quite a ton of questions. So just put your hand up and I'll make sure I notice you. Is that you already? Or was he just waving? He might have been waving. No, I think he was wiping sweat off his face. So, yeah, Mel, how on earth did you become involved in The Force Awakens? It's a cool story.
Yeah, it was, to be honest, completely right place, right time. I was living in Dubai at the time with my husband, and I, back then in a previous life, was an artist. I still do a lot of art, but not as much now. When the children come, it's kind of like you tend to put everything on a back burner. And I was doing an art event in a hotel. And after the art event, we went to like the after party, and one of my friends had been brought in to train the stormtroopers how to, hold their guns and shoot their weapons, because unfortunately the stormtroopers didn't know how to hold their guns. So I don't know if it was like that back in the day.
Just holding the left hand. Is that changed to the right now, I think?
Yeah, and so the guys were there, so they were with a couple of the casting guys, so they were just, and we were just, having a few drinks and, having a chat, and the guy just said, do you want to come for a secret casting? And we were like, hell yeah. So we went to a secret casting, and my husband, oh there he is, my husband had to grow a beard, because he was always really, really clean cut and he had to look. So we first we had to send photos in. So we sent photos in, and then I got a phone call to say, right, can you not send a photo with makeup on? I want you to look as rough as you can, like you've just woken up, because you're all supposed to be scavengers and things like that. So I said, right, I can do that. So literally, like you got out of bed look, you have to do the clipboard. And then about 3 days later, they said, right, you're in, do you want to come for your costume fitting? So of course it was all very, very hush-hush. Went for costume fitting, my husband got the scavenger, and I got fitted with the creature, Athgar-His. So yeah, and that was it really. It was there was so many creatures, about 21 creatures, and everyone was on set all the time. But I was the only one that got any airtime, which is yay for me. But yeah.
One of the things I find fascinating is that Laurie, when you appeared in the original Star Wars, 1976, Star Wars wasn't a thing then, was it? So you would have gone for a casting for this film that was being made by this little-known filmmaker called George Lucas. Yeah. Whereas Mel You would have known
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
You'd Star Wars.
It's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
Well, I think the only thing George Lucas had done before that was American Graffiti. I think that's the only thing of any note. So, but then I didn't know that he had done American Graffiti until afterwards. So they're all kind of unknown. Even Mark Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, can't think of his name. Mark Hamill, I'm getting like you. Mark Hamill. I mean, he was unknown, and so. The only people, Alec Guinness, he was known, so people like that, and the other Christopher Lee.
Peter Cushing and Alec Guinness were the only names that anybody would have heard.
Keep thinking it 2 weeks now. So so there wasn't this sort of a big star thing. It was just sort of like, so where's this film going? And of course, you've got Dave Prowse, who's speaking like Long John Silver, so you really didn't know where it was going to go.
And you played more than one role as well, didn't you, in the film?
I came in as a replacement for a guy called Peter Jukes, who cried off sick. So he had the fitting for the Stormtrooper, and the agent rang me and said, look, you've got the same measurements as Peter Jukes, can you take his place? He can't make it tomorrow. And I said, okay. So I went along and watched on this film called Star Wars, and I was on that for the first week, and the second week, the same thing happened with the soaring character. The person cried off sick, so they said, go down a costume, you fit in a costume and come back next week. So it's just about fitted. And the trousers were very loose, and I thought maybe I wouldn't get it. They said, oh, the trousers didn't fit. They said, oh, well, you put another pair of trousers. I had a baggy pair of trousers on, and the shirt was all kind of baggy as well. So, but as long as I got the top bit, and I was okay. So I came back the second week. It's quite fortunate, really, when you think about it. Now I'm here because the costume fitted.
And you were there to accept that casting.
Yeah.
So a lot of it, I think, is just right place, right time,
it's
and obviously then you need the talent to do what you do on screen.
I mean, originally there's actually two Athgar Haces. There was myself, or I mean, I'm sure if this person got the airtime, they would have been called something else. But there was like a number 2 of me. And it was actually another girl. And when we went to get our costumes fitted, so mine went on and mine was fine. And then the other girl had a larger chest area, and it went on and it didn't fit right, so they had to bandage her up to make it fit, and then they still didn't fit right, so they said, no, we can't have you in the costume because it doesn't sit right. So she was like, okay, right, what do I do now? They said, well, I tell you what, there's nothing else for you, but you can stay. So she actually stayed for the whole 2 and a bit weeks that we were filming, just to have a laugh and just stay with us. So she still got to stay even though her costume wasn't going to fit because it wasn't fair on her. So we were really cool like that. Yeah, really good like
Does
that.
she still get paid?
Is she still got paid as well? Yeah. So
Money for nothing. Money for nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think every time she watches The Force Awakens, a part of us like, oh,
I know.
if only. Because I think you would, wouldn't you? You go, I was there, but it should be there.
There was, I don't know if you've seen in the Moss Ely's.
Cantina.
No, sorry, not Moss Ely's Cantina. Maz's Castle, sorry, Moss Ely's. Maz's Castle. If you pan around in Maz's Castle, there was a very, very split second. There's this like worm thing, gigantic worm thing with a bit of an eye, but it literally scanned round. Well, that came with us, and that was one of my friends was supposed to go in that. And every single scene, they marched this worm out, put it in situ, he got in it, and they kind of went, nah, came back. Every single, marched back out. He was with us again for 2 weeks, never even made it into his costume, because they kept on bringing it out and kind of going, it's not right, it's not right, it's not right. And then so the amount of costumes, the amount of creatures that they brought over and they didn't actually use was unbelievable. But it's just in case, all that effort, every single little bit of detail was unbelievable, you know. So yeah, it was amazing.
I mean, did you notice the opposite, Laurie? Obviously, it was like $10 million, $10 million pounds of dollars, whatever, for the original one, wasn't it? So I'm guessing they used everything they had.
Well, that picture there, you see, that's washing up gloves, and they put stuff on top of it, and it's all starting to peel off. And as a stormtrooper, you ran along, and the bits fell off, and so you had makeup chasing you all the time, and putting pins here and everywhere. So when you do run along, you're quite conscious of not running too fast, otherwise another piece will fall off, you know. So it's like that all the time. So yeah, it's looked like a cheapo film at the time. I suppose they were trying to, you know, do it within the budget, I suppose. But that's how it was.
How soon after it came out did you yourself see it, or did you attend any screenings? Or?
No, I saw it in the cinema, and when I saw that head bump, I thought, that's me, because I remember bumping my head, and a lot of people have claimed it, but what happened with that was that we were holding the guns in our right hands, and I'd been to the loo, I had an upset stomach, and it was in the morning, probably about 11:30 in the morning, and we did 3 or 4 takes. I got put in shot, and I was supposed to go to the loo again. And we had the guns in our right hands, and someone said, no, you got the guns in the wrong, it's got to be in the left hand. So we put it in the left hand, and we only did the 1 shot. We went round, and I bumped my head, and no one said, come. And I thought, well, they got to go again, because I bumped my head. But no one said anything, so I thought, well, maybe they're going to use one of the others. But when it came out, they got the gun in the left hand. Everyone's got the gun in the left hand. So I assumed they had to use it because they had the 1 shot. So that's why I think it's me. So, a lot of people, another guy called Martin Reed has claimed it recently. And I said, well, what happened when you bumped your head? He said, well, everyone laughed. I thought, well, if they laughed, they would have done it again because they would have realised it. So, you know, but no one said anything when I bumped my head. And it didn't hurt because I was going quite slow. I sort of scraped underneath like that. And, yeah. So, and I got a witness as well, because Chris Bunn was in front of me. So there we are.
So they are quite thin plastic, those helmets. I've seen one, somebody had one at one point from, you know, a genuine one, and they weren't very thin plastic. If this one I saw was real, so you're lucky.
It wasn't thin.
Oh no, it was quite thin. The one that I saw.
It was all very fragile, yeah. The whole thing.
But yeah, it's become one of the most, not necessarily the most iconic scene in Star Wars, but it's definitely something that everybody talks about. You've seen Stormtrooper smacks his head, and it is one of those. It makes everybody smile. It's really cool to be able to meet the person behind the helmet who clipped the door. It's bizarre.
Saying pills ever since.
So what made you decide to write a song about the Stormtrooper back in his head? I've heard it.
I thought I sent it here. I thought it was going to play it.
You know, it's amazing.
Well, everyone was saying it was them. You see, the thing is with the head bump, is that everyone's saying, oh, that they did it. Well, you know, about probably half a dozen people said that. And I thought, well, how can they say they've done it and they've got no proof? Yeah, I haven't got any real proof. I mean, I've got Chris Bunn was there with me, but you know, I haven't got any sort of story about the director shouting, "Who's that idiot?" You know, anything like that. So. All I can tell is my story. So I wrote a song called Who Was a Stormtrooper Banged His Head? Who was a stormtrooper banged his head? So many claims unsubstantiated. Who was a stormtrooper bashed his brains? Nobody knows, the mystery remains. All troopers held guns in their left hands. Was this a part of George's plans? If you reverse the negative from right to left, everything shifts. Who was the stormtrooper? Who could it be? Was it George in that suit? Luke in disguise? Obi-Wan Kenobi tricking our eyes? Carrie in a hurry, breaking about. Mr. Thorpe was there, but nobody to see. Maybe the stormtrooper was me.
Oh, yay!
Thank you very much. So I wrote this song on YouTube. I've actually done a remix. No, it's just in a bedroom. Some guy's got his own gear set up in the bedroom around there and did it. And so I put it on iTunes as well. I made about 10 quid, I think.
It is a very cool song. It's a couple of days ago. I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, I know. I sent it to the BBC. I looked at the BBC radio, because you go on the website and it gives you the head of the BBC. And I thought, I'd get some airplays, get some money out of this on the airplays. So, and I got the assistant, Helen Balders, I think her name is, or Balding or something. And she sent me back a list, and I sent it out to the producers, and they wrote back and said, it's not good enough. But yeah, I did try, the BBC, but so I just put it on YouTube.
So yeah, do a search for that, Stormtrooper who banged his head, and you'll find Laurie's YouTube channel there. That's where I found it. It's very good. That's what you're going to check out, isn't it? As soon as you get home, you're just going to check it out.
Googling it now.
Yes, and then we'll leave loads of comments, get it retweeted and stuff, and get it some airtime.
Get you an extra quid.
Exactly.
Penny to me.
Has anybody come up with any Star Wars questions or any questions in general? No? No, one at the back.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, do you have any sort of stories about any of the sort of main actors, obviously Daisy Ridley, anything like that, or Harrison or Carrie Fisher from back in your day?
The only thing, I mean, I told a story the other day. Alec Guinness, I worked on, but not on Star Wars. I worked with Alec Guinness on something else called 12th Night, ATV television, about 1969. And we were rehearsing, before we did the film, we were rehearsing at a church hall in St John's Wood. And I lived in Fulham and I got up late. I had to be there at 9 o'clock. It was about 8:45. And I rushed and I got there. And as I walked in, the director said, you're late! And so I thought, what should I do? Everyone was rehearsing. Except this guy in the corner who was making a cup of tea because they had a little kind of kettle and milk and teapot there. And I walked over, I thought, I would go and make myself a cup of tea, everyone's looking at me, and I walked over there. And this guy turned around, it was Alec, and he said, my name's Alec. He said, would you like a cup of tea? I said, oh yes please, he made me a cup of tea. So that's the only thing I could say about someone that was in Star Wars. Nice man though. Something to write it down in your diary.
What about yourself, Mel, from your experience?
For me, not really funny stories because everyone was super professional. I think obviously Star Wars was really in the spotlight, the movie that I did. So everyone had to be on their best behaviour and obviously very, very, very professional. I did meet John. There was a scene where obviously I bump into John. And a couple of times, originally there was two of us. So there's when you're in the marketplace and I'm going up to, there's a bit where he's holding the machine or I don't know, it's an engine. That other person was with me, and we did about 15 takes of us both walking together. But the guy's head kind of was wibbling a little bit, so they said, right, no, he needs to come off, so it's just me. So we did about another 10 takes with John was running towards me. And they changed it, because originally it was John just running past, but then they changed it to, you stop and say, water, and obviously I make some weird noise, which I couldn't even tried. And then, but a couple of times he almost knocked me out, literally, because he was running so fast, and he was literally sprinting. He almost knocked me out, so when they said cut, we had to go to a sheltered area, because it was 45-degree heat. And we take me help, and he goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you okay? He was just so lovely. But not funny stories, because everyone was just super professional, so and I think you have to be in this day and age anyway.
Definitely a nice memory from your time on Force Awakens.
Amazing.
Would you pursuing acting in other roles, or was that?
For me, I've taken a long time out because I have two very small children. So after the Force Awakens, I moved back a couple of years ago, just with my children. My husband stayed in Dubai for a while, just doing his work. So it's really only the last couple of months where we've all been together as a family. So obviously being on my own with the children, and I moved back when my daughter was 3 months old. So just settling the family in and everything, and my son was only new Dubai, so it's been just spending a bit of time with family. So there could be things on the cards,
You're not ruling it out.
No, not ruling it out.
What was your husband Mark's experience on The Force Awakens? Obviously, do you both go that? We were in a Star Wars movie.
Do you know what? He's more of a Star Wars geek than me. He absolutely loves it. He collects the toys and everything. He absolutely loves it. We have a Star Wars room at home. And he was just amazing. I mean, there is a video that it's not come out yet, and it's the behind the scenes. Now they've done a behind the scenes for The Force Awakens, but I think they might do something at the end. I don't know, because there were so many things that they were filming that on the behind the scenes it never got shown. And he actually got to have an interview, which was really, really cool. But the only thing is with my husband, it's like, oh, hang on, oh, you're right over there, about 10 miles that way. That was the only thing, so he didn't really get seen. But he did get a photo, because I know you weren't supposed to take your cameras in or your phones in, but he smuggled a phone, he smuggled a phone in and he took a photo of himself in the toilet. That's the photo there. He said he had to get a selfie in the loo. But that was about it really. But no, it's still you still pinch yourself and kind of go, wow, we were in Star Wars, you know. And when we were still living in Dubai, you don't really, it's not such a, people love the film, but there's only one Comic-Con. So you don't realise how big it is until you come back here. And as soon as I came back, people were like, do you want to do a con? I'm like, what?
What's a convention?
What's a convention? And you walk to these conventions and everyone's amazing, you know. And for me, the best part of conventions is I'm a big Harry Potter fan. Love Harry Potter. And when I go to conventions and I'm on a lineup with Harry Potter, with people in Harry Potter, I'm just like, I'm going to sit next to them, please. You know. So I love it because I love meeting people and talking to people. So yeah, it's ace. I love it.
Do more of those.
I would, yeah, definitely. No.
Have either of you done the Star Wars Celebration conventions?
I wish.
Made them.
Yeah.
I was down to do it, and they got cancelled last minute. So for health and safety reasons, we had to cut so many people. So it's sort of like, I think about 12 of us got cut. But I did want to do it. It's, the one in London, Excel, whenever that was.
That's a nice venue, actually.
Yeah, I've been there. No, not in Star Wars.
So what's your take on the new Star Wars movies? Do you watch them, or do you go, do you know what, that's part of my work resume and you're busy doing other stuff?
Force Awakens I've seen. The thing is it's kind of like compared with A New Hope. I mean, New Hope had more of a storyline. I suppose the special effects kind of take over, don't they, in the more recent ones? So you get sort of more stormtroopers blowing up and all that. But so I prefer the older ones, really.
I like the new ones, but I think a lot of people who don't like the new ones, they want that same feeling that they had when they were a child watching the original ones, and because they don't quite get that, they then flip the lid and tweet crazy stuff. So.
Yeah.
But I think it is nice to have them back again, definitely. I don't know if I need one every 6 months or one every year or whatever, because there was something about the original trilogy where the first one came out and you loved it. And you heard they were doing the second one, you're like,
What was the years between
it was 3 years and then 3 years again between Empire and Jedi. In that time period, I remember it well. I was 9 years old when Empire came out, and the cliffhanger. It was horrible waiting 3 years to find out what was going on. You're like, Vader's lying. He can't be Luke's dad. That's not. How are they going to get Han? It was horrible, but it was great. Whereas now you go, it's one out next year. I'll find out a year after. So I tend to lose a little bit of that anticipation, but it's great to know there's more.
So the first one you saw was Empire Strikes Back?
No, the first one I saw, I was 6 when I was taken to see Star Wars, and then what they did back in the day when Empire came out, they would then reissue it for Star Wars and Empire, so you watch a double bill. And then when Jedi came out, it was Star Wars and Empire Jedi, so I actually watched those 3 films twice. So 12 hours I spent in the movie theatre as a kid watching them. I had all the figures and everything, so I was a proper Star Wars geek.
No, I loved the original 3. I was brought up on the original 3 and I still watch them now with my son. But obviously when the new ones came out, my son's 5 now. And when The Force Awakens came out, I was proud to take him to the cinema to watch it. And when we actually went, it was just the cast in Abu Dhabi. We went to a special screening, but I was able to take my son with me, you know. And yeah, he absolutely thoroughly loved it. He was very, very young then. But I love the fact that he knows that Mummy was in Star Wars, although he tells his friends don't believe him, obviously. But it's lovely the fact that he is so into Star Wars and my husband's so into Star Wars. It's something that you can enjoy as a family. And yeah, I love them. I love the whole fantasy sci-fi thing anyway, so it's just, I love them. Yeah.
Anyone come up with a question? No, there we go.
Any fun facts about the Force that aren't exactly top secret?
Sorry, what was that? Sorry, speak a bit louder, sorry.
Any fun facts about the Force that you can tell us that aren't top secret?
Top secret.
We all want one.
That's another thing. It's become so.
It's very, very
secrecy
yeah.
now. And so, I mean, when I went along, you could take photographs and everything. Now, they take the phones off you and everything.
Yeah,
when you
yeah. At the gate, we had our phones taken off us and everything, and they were in like a secret lock up in the base camp, and then we went onto set. And I remember there was somebody who was working there that had a phone with them and took a few photos, and someone found out and they literally got front marched off, and that was it. They'll never work doing like it was like an assistant, you know, the AD kind of run and stuff. Never do that again within that kind of so it's very secretive, but they have to. You know, there's so many internet channels now that, you know, things get leaked straight away, that they have to be really secretive if they want the fans to, you know, keep with the suspense. So, yeah.
See, I find, because I do a lot of film publicity, and filmmakers will tell me stuff about their films. I don't want to tell people, because I want to preserve the joy of going and watching a film for the first time and not knowing what is going on screen. So I tend to keep, it really annoys me when people just blab and here's a picture.
Yeah.
Slap on.
See,
Bang
that's
their head
what
against the wall.
happened to me. See, because my pictures got leaked onto TMZ. So there was somebody that had a watch phone. Now that's before the watch phones, you know, someone who lived in Abu Dhabi, and he had a watch phone and he was taking photos with his watch. And they got leaked out literally, I think, a week after we'd stopped filming, which was really disheartening and quite, not embarrassing, but you felt like you'd done something really wrong when it wasn't you, it was someone else that done something really wrong. But you can't stop TMZ from leaking them out, but you just feel like you've done something wrong, you know.
And you're there to make a film, right? You don't need to be distracted by, oh, that happened, and you need to concentrate, make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
need to concentrate on your roles, don't
Yeah,
you?
so it was quite intense for about a week when they were trying to find out what happened, and you know, so, but yeah, that was a bit, that put a bit of a dampener. But on the flip side of that, you actually know that it's me.
You're in the Force Awakens.
So it's the only kind of link I've got, because I could just say I'm that, and I wasn't that, because so it's the only footage I've got to prove who I am, because we didn't get credited. So being in Abu Dhabi, the studio got the credit, not the person. So I didn't get the credit for it. If I got the credit for it, brilliant, but it was uncredited my part. So that's my proof.
You're a Lego figure, one of these pictures that keeps going down. You're in a Lego game.
I'm on a bonus round.
We have the Lego game at home, so.
I know, bonus round. But I would love the Lego figure. Oh my God, I'd love the Lego figure. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Has one been made, or?
Don't know.
Not yet?
No.
Needs to be one.
You'd think so. You'd think so. Yeah.
Zara from downstairs, she was in Doctor Strange, she gave me a Lego figure of her little brunette zealot this morning. I was like, oh wow, that's going on my film geek shelf at home. So.
My son would go crazy if I was made into a Lego figure. Yeah.
We should start a campaign.
We should start.
Get Laurie to do a song. You could do a song about it.
You could do a song about it.
Who was the Lego man? What?
Let's make Lego figures.
The Lego man who couldn't walk.
So what's the most popular picture that you've had signed today from your desk? Has there been an outright winner, or
No,
has it been across the board?
I've actually done one for Doctor Who, which is unusual. I don't normally bring those along, but mainly Star Wars. So people bring their own pieces that they want signed as well, whether a photograph or box or something. You know, so, yeah, so.
I'm going to pop down later on and see the pair of you and have a catch up and whatnot. But if there are no final questions, then I shall let you both go back downstairs and mingle with many, many more Star Wars fans.
Oh yeah, come and say hello.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much,
Thank
Mel.
you.
Thank
Cheers.
you, Laurie.